Apologies for the delay here. So let me get started here.
Yes, how are you? This is Monzo Chaudhary. I'm on the line.
Thank you, Manjur. I will take attendance shortly.
Okay, no problem.
Jade, if you saw that, can you change the name for Manjur on that phone line?
Yeah, Manjur, which number is yours? Is it 347
347-219-5591.
Okay, got it.
Victor, my number is 4840, Maharani.
Okay, we'll be taking attendance shortly, and same Jade, I think it's ending in 4840.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Victor Saldana. I am the Chair of Public Safety and Quality of Life. This is Bronx Community Board 7's Public Safety and Quality of Life Committee. The committee agenda is as follows. We will go quickly over meeting guidelines. We'll do a quick attendance. We'll review previous minutes, follow from previous meeting. We'll talk about updates from our city agencies, and we'll briefly discuss our next meeting. Continuing with the guidelines, on September 22nd, Mayor Adams issued Executive Order 210 extending the state of emergency October 22nd. Accordingly, boards are able to continue to act under the state of emergency section of the video conferencing law, chapter 56 of the laws of 2022, part WW. This allows the board to continue remotely. Minutes and video recording will be made available on our website. If you're calling into the meeting on the conference, controls by joining from a landline or cell by calling a dial-up number. To hear all available commands, enter ** on your phone, *6 to mute or unmute yourself, *virtual 9 to virtually raise your hand. How we will run this meeting is as follows. Code of conduct for meetings, penalties and actions. Bronx Community Board 7 has the right to remove and ask a member of the public to leave a meeting or block participation of anyone who engages in inappropriate conduct, including but not limited to obscene or offensive images or languages, personal attacks, threats, or any other behavior that reasonably impedes the orderly administration of the meeting. Repeated offenses will be reviewed by the board's executive committee or any other assigned committee for a ban. The amount of time to be objectively determined by the above committees of the participant in the event of repeated disruptive behavior. If a person outbursts or attacks continues, this will be considered disturbing the peace and the authorities shall be summoned. Everyone besides the speaker presenter will stay muted throughout the meeting. After each presentation is over, I will inquire if committee members have questions. Committee members will signify that they have a question by pressing the raised hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Members of the public who have joined through the online link will be able to ask questions and make a brief statement of the item after each presentation and after the committee has had an opportunity to ask clarifying questions. By pressing the raised hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Only those recognized by the chair of the committee will be allowed to speak during the allotted time. We will stay on topic with the agenda items. Any other items will be acknowledged by the chair in new business or addressed at the next meeting, granted there's time and the committees agree on topic. Following the questions, discussions, and public comment portion, the committee will begin their discussion after each presentation agenda item and will conclude with the decision to vote on a recommendation. When the agenda is finished, the meeting will be adjourned. If there are any questions related to meeting software or to the process, please use the chat function or raise your hand function to contact the district manager. Thank you. So quickly, I'm going to go over attendance. If you're on the line, please unmute yourself and let me know. Myrna Calderon.
Present.
Manjor Chaudhry. Manjor.
Manzoor Chaudhary present.
Lowell Green.
Lowell Green is present.
You hear me? Manzoor Chaudhary present.
Yes, thank you, Manjor.
Okay,
Maharani.
okay, thank you.
Maharani Sibajan is present.
Thank you. Samantha Savatsis.
Samantha Shabbat is present. Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
No.
Great, we have forum. Now going back to the agenda, Committee of Public Safety and Quality of Life, did you have a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting? Are there any questions from the minutes from the last meeting? Okay. So can I get a second saying the minutes have been approved?
I, Samantha Shabbat, is second the motion to approve.
Thank you, Samantha. We'll go ahead with that. So we'll move off from our previous minutes. Briefly, I don't think there's any additional follow-up. There was a request from the public to better understand the NYC 311 process. That is an outstanding item that we hope to not only bring it to our committee, but hopefully to a larger committee. So I am planning to see if we can submit this for a general board meeting as it not only impacts public safety and quality of life, but affects the whole community in Grand. So hopefully we can get a representative from 301 to give an overall process on 301 and making sure we understand why and tickets are closed and how best to submit tickets from the last meeting. Now going on to our next agenda items, I think I did see NYPD on the line. So who do we have from the 52nd precinct?
Hey, Victor of Sachaveria, 5-2 precinct community base.
So I'm going to open up to you. Just give us a summary for the past 30 days, 28 days, and just updates in general from the precinct.
All right, just bear with me 1 minute. Overall, the command is doing really well. We're probably the best in the Bronx at the moment. You know, even though that things are crazy out now in the Bronx, we're one of the few commands in the city that are actually down index crimes. Do have sector index crimes. I don't have an overall general 5-2. Overall, sector Adam is down 6%, which is from 40 index crimes to 34 index crimes. Sector Boy, which is one of our busiest sectors, down 11%. 40 index crimes last year to 29 this year. Sector Charlie is up 1 index crime from 40 to 41. And Sector David is down 6%, 46 index crimes last year to 40. If you don't know what index crimes are, it's the 7 major felonies that the NYPD monitors: murder, rape, robbery, felony assault, burglary, grand larceny, and grand larceny autos. Overall, we've been doing really well. We've made a few really great gun collars recently. I don't know if you've been following our Twitter page. Our field intelligence team was able to get some information and take away some illegal firearms. That was definitely a big arrest for us recently. We've, other than that, you know, we've been pretty steady. We've been doing the best we can, trying to address the issues that we are the issues. We do have a few events coming up, a few meetings that I'd like to bring up to your attention. So obviously the community council meeting is going to be on the 27th at Fordham Hill Oval, the Kensington Building, 2455 Cedric Avenue, at 7 p.m. on the 27th of this month. But we also have a trunk or treat Halloween event. We know Halloween coming up could be a dangerous day for many of our children. So we are going to be providing a safe space where our children can come to the precinct at 5 p.m., enjoy the decorations, the music, the popcorn, the games, and they're gonna get a lot of candy if they show up. So this way they don't feel like they have to go into areas where they don't feel safe. So if anybody knows anybody in a PTA or any local schools, I'll send the flyer to you, Victor. You can spread that word. We'd love to have as many kids as possible. And that's pretty much it. If anybody has questions for me, I can answer your questions now.
Thank you, Officer. We want to open it first to members of the committee, see if there's any questions or any concerns with what Officer Cheria had just reported. Go ahead, Lo.
Where do catalytic converters in the stats stand? Are they grand lost in the auto?
I think those would just be it could be grand larceny from an auto. I'd have to go to our crime analysis section to see how we're doing with catalytic converters. We've been trying to get we're trying to do an event where our crime prevention officer can mark the catalytic converters like they're doing in other places in the city. We're trying to get that unit to come over here and offer that to our community. I haven't seen a lot of them recently in the reports, from reading the reports. But next time I'm on, I'll give you an update on what the numbers look like for that. I don't know if you have encountered any of that recently, but I'll get back to you on that.
You just hear about it, so that seems to be the hot topic that everybody's talking about now.
Yeah, and that's why we have this specialized unit trying to work with our crime prevention officer to have these things. But it takes a lot to do that kind of event because you have to team up with an auto mechanic who's going to allow us to use their lift so we can mark those catalytic converters. So again, we got to find the location, but we also got to make sure that we're going to be getting the unit to come. We'll try our best to get it. Again, it's only one unit going citywide. I know they did it in Queens. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they're focusing on the commands that are getting hit the hardest. I don't know what the numbers are for our command. I haven't read it in our reports, so I don't think it's that bad here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other committee members? Any other questions? No. Officer Cheria, I did receive an email regarding some haunted house on Decatur Avenue. This was a house, I guess, used to give issues a year back where it was old, and I think there was a few people that were selling drugs out of there. I think at one point it came on the news, and there was concern if that haunted house had the proper permits to host a haunted house event. Just not sure if you're aware of that.
Yeah, it was brought to our attention. I don't have too much information right now. I don't think they're operating, but if they were, they wouldn't have any permits to do so. They would be in violation, obviously. It's a residential. It's a residential house, not a business. So they would, if they were operating, they would get a lot of summonses and could be arrested for it as well. But we are aware of it. Serial Guarino brought it up to us at one of our meetings. We basically reached out to other agencies who handle some of the things that would be in violation to investigate. As of now, I haven't heard anything about it. So I'm assuming that they got the message that they couldn't do it. But if anybody knows that they are operating, just let us know, and we'll go over there because they're residential. They don't have permits for it, and I would know if they have a permit for it because I look at the permits. So I haven't seen any permit for any house for a haunted house.
Thank you. So I don't see any other questions from Public Safety and Quality of Life Committee. So I just want to open to see if there's other Bronx Community Board 7 committee members that have any questions, if they can raise. Okay, and then also one last question before I open to the public for any questions. What are the plans for this Halloween, especially Halloween week from NYPD? I know you mentioned we're having an event for the community, but would there be extra patrol on the street as well during Halloween?
Yeah, we always have a plan in place. Usually we look at the past to see where our issues are usually, and we focus in on those areas. We have officers coming in from other commands. We also we've actually been keeping some of our officers a couple hours extra each night, just to make sure that things don't get out of hand. But Halloween is one of our nights that we focus in on. Obviously, in the past, before COVID, people wearing masks, everyone was scared. Now it's kind of like the norm now. So, it's definitely something we're focused on. Like I said, one of the things that the commander is really proud of is that we're one of the commands that are down, and he's doing everything he can to keep those numbers down. And I don't know if you noticed, but we've had a lot more foot posts out there. We've had a lot more people on the streets, just trying to put a little bit more pressure, a little bit more presence out there. So far, it's working, and yeah, Halloween is no different. We're gonna have a lot of manpower for that day. Even though we still have this event is mainly, just the officers that are here at the precinct, but we're gonna have plenty of people on the street as well.
Thank you. So with that being said, I just want to open to members of the public, see if there's any questions or any concerns that you want to bring up to NYPD 52nd Precinct. Great, it's a quiet night. Thank you so much, NYPD 52nd Precinct, and we appreciate all you guys do. Thank you so much.
Anytime, Victor. Thank you.
Oh, one last thing. If you have a chance on the chat, if you have any build the blocks, just put them in there so the public is aware. And next, I want to open it up. Thank you again. I want to open to see if we have any representation from the district attorney's office.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Carlos Santorez. I'm the crime prevention coordinator over at the Bronx District Attorney's Office. I put my contact information in the chat box. Just one quick announcement. On Saturday, October 15th, our office is going to be hosting its 5th annual domestic violence 5K run, walk, roll against domestic violence. Event kicks off at 9:30 and at 12:30. The race, excuse me, the 5K is going to begin on 161st and the Grand Concourse, all the way down to Mount Eden, and then back, and it's going to end at the 1620 Grand Concourse during the event. We're going to have organizations providing resources in regards to domestic violence. Crime Victims Assistance Bureau is going to be there as well, and other organizations providing resources. And we're going to have survivors of domestic violence sharing their experience and their journey with those in attendance. As of right now, we have 500 people that have registered. Hopefully those 500 people show up. And it's pretty much it. If anyone on this call has any questions, comments, or concerns, again, I'll put my information in the chat box. Just feel free to reach out to me. And, thank you to the men and women over at the 52nd Precinct for doing a great job. I'll stay on the call. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. Last time, Erica mentioned that she will be stepping down. Are you a new rep for the district attorney's office?
No. So long story short, I've been with the office for 2.5 years. My main focus is crime prevention and reentry. So for an example, a few years ago, our office teamed up with the 4-6 and the 5-2, and we had a march against gun violence, which began on 183rd and Valentine and concluded over at 194th and Valentine. So I'll be attending public safety public safety meetings, a few community board meetings. I probably won't be attending all the time, depending on where the district attorney would want me to be.
Thank you, Carlos. So before moving on, I just want to see if there's any questions from committee members or the public for district attorney's office. Sounds good. I think, thank you, Carlos. We'll keep you posted, and thank you for putting in contact information, and look forward to continue our work with you.
Definitely, you're welcome. Oh, and one last thing, I'll make sure to send over the flyers so we can share with community members. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on our agenda, it's OEMS. Do we have any representative from OEMS on the line? Okay, I'm gonna take that as a no. Do we have any representation from FDNY on the line? Okay, no additional representatives. So before I move on to capital expense and report overview, I'd like to open the floor to see if there's any other city agencies that would like to give an update or let the community know of any other events that might be happening on their neck of the woods. If you can raise your hand, I'm happy to open the floor to you. Okay, great. Seems like it's going to be a quick meeting this evening. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm going to briefly share on the screen as we get ready for the new year for 2023. We're going to be going into budget season. So let me just open up quickly the files here. So as we get ready for 2023, hopefully you're able to see my screen. Our committee has pushed forward for the community board for new facilities for NYPD, right? So as I think we've been putting in this request for a couple of years. I'm not sure if we still have folks from NYPD, but one of the comments we heard back was that further study is needed by the agency for this request. Has the NYPD, Officer Chavarria, do you by any chance know if there's been any discussions about this or anything that has been pushed as a budget request for a new NYPD facility that you've heard about? Because we understand that it's an additional study is needed for this request. I'm not sure if NYPD has heard anything of this. If not, I'm happy to take it back to the district manager to understand, see if there's any update from their end. Yep, I'm gonna take that. My NYPD might have left already. And then for the larger group, as we get towards the end of the year, this PDF will be shared with you. So that way you are able to review on the request that we want to be able to submit to Community Board 7 to put forward on our behalf for public safety and quality of life. We would like to continue pushing forward with making sure that we have that the budget request goes for NYPD facilities and equipment. We will like to make sure that two items really stick out here, keep pushing to be able to renovate or upgrade the existing precinct, and hopefully be able to get some of these items after further review, after code is taken, to make sure that we're able to properly be able to add some of these items. I think briefly we had discussed about maybe putting in a request for additional surveillance cameras or additional shop spotter coverage. I do see Officer Scott right now. It's on my view. Maybe Officer Scott or Officer Wakeland, maybe you can help me out here. But if we want to one of our community members had brought up that certain parts in the community have sort of these lights around this with light displays, mostly bright lights that's hopefully help deter some crime, but there's also traffic signs that show alerts saying, hey, please lower the volume. The area is patrolled by NYPD, something around like that. Is that a request that will go through the NYPD, or is that something that goes through transportation? I'm not sure if you are aware of those items, and if we want to be able to put that as a request, would that fall under NYPD or another agency? Just want to throw it out there, at least for us to help us think about how we submit this in the next coming months.
Hey, Victor, I don't know if Scott is, I know he's processing a collar with Officer Wagner right now. So I'll just jump in on that. So as far as those signs, usually those signs are something that we borrow from the borough command, usually put in places where we have issues with many things, mostly speeding, seatbelt areas, accident-prone areas. It could be sometimes where we use it for noise, loud music. But if you were to, that's something that we borrow. That's not something the precinct has. In order to get one of those things, if that's something the community wants to get for the precinct, they can. And I don't know if there's a budget for that, but that could be something that wouldn't be an issue with us. We'd be happy to have a sign like that where we can put it around throughout the command, wherever it's needed. But you would have to connect with people down in One Police Plaza. So if that's something the community wants, you can always reach out to me and I'll connect you with the person that can make that happen. And really, it's anything that the community donates to the precinct keeps, right? So we've had people donate. They weren't happy with, let's say they wanted the precinct to have more vans. We've had people donate vans. We've had people donate our golf cart. Our golf cart, we're the only precinct in the Bronx with a golf cart. That was because that was donated to the precinct. And it stays in our precinct. No one borrows it. No one gets to use it but the precinct. So anything you would allocate to our precinct would stay in our precinct. It would be only used for our precinct. But right now, those signs that you do see, those signs are borrowed, and those signs are only there temporarily because it just moved on to the next site throughout the whole entire borough.
Sorry about that, was muted there, have it. No, thank you for that very informative information there. So I think as a committee, we'll take this back. These are the things that we'll be reviewing as things that we want to put in the budget request. It doesn't hurt to put as much as we can, see if they get approved. I know we've always submitted for an upgrade to the precinct, but it seems like it's not going through. Maybe we'll look at other equipment to submit for this year and seeing if those items get approved. So more to come in the coming weeks as we start reviewing this. Just want to share with the public that the committee will be reviewing this. We'll also get input from other committee members in the community, and hopefully we'll go over at a larger with the whole process on how things will be submitted moving forward. With that being said, I just want to open to committee members, see if there's any questions or comments before I close this segment. Okay, so I don't see anything from public safety. I'm going to stop sharing. So moving on with the agenda, I just want to open it up to the general public to see if there's any questions or concern. Well, actually, before moving to general public, I do want to open to committee members, see if there's any additional questions or concerns that we have for this evening?
Victor Chad's hand is up. You're on mute, you're on mute.
Thank you, Samantha. So I'm going to open to community board member 7, see if there's any questions. Chat, good evening. Any feedback or questions?
Yes, hi, good evening, Victor. Good evening, Samantha. Good evening, everyone. I had wrote something, I was in the process of writing something. I don't know if I sent it. Maybe this is a question that I can ask PD. Officer Echeverria, thank you for joining us. Regarding public safety officers for the schools, I'm not sure if this is something that 52nd Precinct has a word on, but I know there's a lot of vacancies to come, and a lot of public safety officers typically don't stay in the positions when they are in the schools due to promotion or moving to another department. And I was just wondering, Victor, as a request, could we put additional public safety officers to be hired and retained for several schools in the district? And I'm citing PS 86 as one school on a first-hand basis who would support it. Just wanted to throw that idea as a possible request for additional public safety officers for the schools. Many of them only have 1 or 2, and being that PS 86 for one has 1,400 students, 7 to 8 exits, and different times where people enter and exit the building, there is an opportunity where safety can be enforced better with more people on deck.
Chad, you want us to answer that, or?
Yeah, only because I'm not quite certain what is the connection, if it's direct or indirect, with public safety officers in the school with the precinct. If you can share some light on that.
I mean, it's basically school safety. It's not, they're in charge of manning, the many public schools that we have in the city. Even the Bronx, I know we have many schools here in the 5-2 precinct. The older kids get a couple more because they tend to be needed more in the high schools or junior high schools. Elementary schools tend to get less, which, we wish that there were more, but it's not something that we can request. I know, I think it's PS 56 that was on Webster Avenue. They had 2 school safety agents. One passed away, and for almost 2 years, they didn't replace them. And, the elected officials had to get involved. So maybe it's a little bit of getting your elected officials to put a little bit of pressure on the powers that be in school safety, NYPD, to, replace those positions that are very much needed. Like you said, 1 school safety officer seems a little ridiculous for 8 exits, 1,400 students. But know that the police department, we have many resources, unlike other states where a response to a school can be in 15 to 20 minutes. NYPD has specialized units as well as officers and adjacent commands that can respond in seconds and minutes to locations to assist. That being said, like I said, maybe talk to your elected officials. That's how PS 56 got it done. See if there was ever an additional school safety agent at 86, because there probably was. They just didn't get replaced, and that seems to be the issue. It makes sense that a minimum to be at least 2, because school safety agent has to have a break at some point, right? This who's taking over for when he has to get the break, So yeah, it's
sometimes nobody.
Mm-hmm. So it's you're depending on school staff, school to do something that they don't specialize in. Like I said, I think it's more of an issue that our elected officials should, if 86 is having an issue, I believe we have who's the elected official for 86? That would be Parina
That's
Sanchez.
Karina.
So speak up. So
Thank you for your insight.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Alistair. And I think, Chad, we're happy to review that as well, right? If that's part of the budget, see if we can submit it as well. And if anything, we can also take it with the education committee to see if they've heard the same from the public that joins those meetings, right? But I think that's a good example of something we can move forward, and hopefully we can get the council members also to support it. And if there's a huge need like there is, right, to make sure that they understand that the community wants this.
Thank you, Victor.
So before moving on, I just want to open to the public, see if there's any questions, any concerns. There you have, I do see Maria Rivera on the line. If you can ask you to unmute, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. So I'm new to Community Board 7 from Bronx Works. I'm a senior manager at Bronx Works, and we were awarded an NDA for safety, awareness, and crime prevention. And so I'd let you know, that's why you'll be seeing more of me. I'm going to try to attend every meeting you have. I also like to maybe meet Officer Echevarria, or maybe someone can tell me who's the community liaison that I could reach to talk about safety concerns in Community Board 7. I'm also going to be working with a neighborhood advisory board. We're connecting with them so we can, connect to find out what are the concerns. Maybe we'll have focus groups, we'll have meetings, we'll recruit people to help us in this endeavor. So just want to say hello, and maybe is Police Officer Echevarria the right person for me to contact, or do?
Yeah, I think it's a great way, and he's more than happy to help you connect it to correct NYPD resources as well. I'm not sure I think Jade Guzman for her email. You can reach out to Jade as well. I retyped the email in there. Feel free to email Jade, and she will connect you with the other committees as well, and get you resources or who you can contact to.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much. And, I look forward to working with all of you.
Yeah, and we meet every other Thursday of every month. So we can see here. And if you have any items that you like to present to the public, let Jade know, and we'll be happy to put you in.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Maria. With that being said, I just want to open one last chance to anyone from the public if there's any additional questions, any items that you would like us to consider for discussion, or any issues that you've come across that you haven't heard any updates or need escalation. Okay, no one raising their hands. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. It's been a lovely short meeting. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes back. I know there are other meetings happening at the same time, so hopefully those meetings are still running and we can join them as well. With that being said, can I get a second to end this evening's meetings?
Second.
Go ahead, Myrna, go ahead.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening, and please feel free to reach out to Bronx Community Board 7. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.